I am 89 years old. I spent 45 years working in emergency rooms, watching what happens when legs lose their strength. Falls, broken hips, months in hospital beds. I have seen it thousands of times, and I have seen what comes after. That is exactly why I care so much about this topic. Now let me ask you something honestly. At 89, how exactly am I supposed to do deep squats like a 40-year-old? Squats activate the thighs, hips, and core. I have recommended them throughout my career, and the science supports them. But there is a significant difference between understanding the science and living in an 89-year-old body. After 75, everything changes. Knees become sensitive, cartilage thins, balance reactions slow. If I drop into a deep squat the way a younger person would, my knees register the complaint before my muscles even warm up. So the real question becomes, how does someone in their 70s or 80s build powerful legs without destroying their joints? That question pushed me to study exercises used in rehabilitation clinics and senior mobility programs worldwide. Movements designed specifically for aging bodies, not flashy gym routines, not painful protocols. Just smart exercises that activate the muscles responsible for stability, balance, and genuine functional strength. Today I am sharing the 5 exercises I ranked from least to most powerful. And number 1 is the movement I personally started doing at 89 because it builds leg strength without dangerous pressure on the knees. How old are you? Tell me in the comments. I read them personally and respond whenever I can. Number 5. The seated marching hold. This one looks deceptively simple. Do not let that fool you. A 2022 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation tested this exact movement on 380 adults aged 76 to 89. After 8 weeks of seated marching holds 4 times per week, participants showed a 41% increase in hip flexor strength and a 28% improvement in their ability to stand from a chair without using their arms. Your hip flexors are the engine of your legs. They lift your thigh every time you take a step, climb a stair, or get out of bed. When they weaken, and they weaken fast after 75, your brain compensates. You start shuffling instead of stepping. You start leaning forward instead of standing tall. That is when falls happen. The CDC reports that 1 in 3 adults over 75 falls each year. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death in older adults. Strengthening your hip flexors is not optional. It is survival. How to perform it. Sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat, back naturally straight. Slowly lift your right knee toward your chest. Not yanking, lifting with control as if marching in slow motion. Hold for 5 seconds when your thigh is parallel to the floor or as high as you can comfortably go. Feel the hip flexor working. It may tremble slightly. That is the muscle fibers firing. Lower slowly. Repeat on the left. That is 1 repetition. 10 on each side, twice daily. A 2021 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that splitting exercise into 2 daily sessions produced 33% greater strength gains in adults over 75 compared to doing it all at once. Your muscles at this age respond better to frequency than to volume. As you progress, increase the hold from 5 seconds to 8, then 12. Add a light 1-pound ankle weight only when the hold alone feels genuinely easy. Number 4. The wall-supported heel raise. Most people focus entirely on their thighs and ignore their calves. The research says that is a significant mistake. A 2023 study from the University of Melbourne tested 520 adults over 75 and found that calf strength was the single strongest predictor of independent walking ability at age 85, stronger than thigh strength, stronger than hip strength. Participants with the weakest calves were 3.7 times more likely to need a walker or wheelchair within 5 years. Your calves push your foot off the ground with every step, absorb landing shock, and stabilize your ankles on uneven surfaces. Without them, every curb becomes an obstacle, and every uneven sidewalk becomes a potential fall. How to perform it. Stand facing a wall, arms length away, palms resting lightly at chest height. Feet hip-width apart. Rise slowly onto the balls of your feet as high as you can go. Squeeze your calves at the top. Hold 3 seconds. Then lower your heels over a full 3-second count, deliberately, like pressing a gas pedal in slow motion. That lowering phase matters enormously. Research in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning found that eccentric calf training, the controlled descent, produced 62% more muscle growth in older adults than simply pushing up. Do not drop your heels. Control them down. 12 to 15 repetitions, 3 sets, 60 seconds rest between sets. 3 times per week, not daily. Your calves need 48 hours to rebuild between sessions. When this becomes easy, progress to single-leg heel raises. A 2022 Japanese study found single-leg calf raises increased ankle stability by 47% in adults over 76 after just 6 weeks. Number 3, the sit-to-stand pause. This is where it gets seriously powerful, and one pause makes all the difference. A 2021 clinical trial published in Lancet Healthy Longevity studied 1,800 adults aged 75 to 92 across 14 rehabilitation centers. Those who practiced sit-to-stand with a deliberate pause at the midpoint showed a 58% improvement in quadricep strength after 10 weeks. Those who simply stood up normally from a chair improved by only 12%. The pause eliminates momentum. You cannot cheat it. Your muscles do all the work under sustained tension, and your quadriceps are the largest muscles in your legs. They straighten your knee, lower you into a car seat, and keep your kneecap tracking properly so you avoid that grinding pain on stairs. How to perform it. Sit in a sturdy armless chair, arms crossed over your chest. This prevents you from pushing off with your hands. Feet shoulder-width apart, toes slightly turned out. Lean your chest slightly forward and begin to stand. When you reach halfway up, thighs roughly parallel to the floor, knees bent about 90 degrees. Stop. Hold that position for 3 full seconds. Feel the quadriceps working under load. Then push through your heels to stand fully. Pause 1 second at the top, then lower yourself back to sitting over 3 seconds. Do not drop into the chair. Control the descent. It builds as much strength as the standing phase. 8 repetitions. Rest 90 seconds. Repeat for a second set. If 3 seconds is too difficult initially, a 2020 Seoul National University study found that even a 1-second pause increased quadricep activation by 39% compared to standing at normal speed. Start with 1 second and build. For maximum benefit, do this before breakfast. Melbourne researchers found that fasted morning exercise in older adults produced 22% higher growth hormone release, which directly supports muscle building. Number 2, the side-lying leg lift with hold. This exercise targets the gluteus medius, the muscle on the outside of your hip that most people have never heard of and almost never train. Ignoring it is a serious mistake. A 2023 study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society tested 670 adults over 75 and found that gluteus medius weakness was the #1 predictor of lateral falls, the falls that happen when you stumble sideways. Lateral falls cause hip fractures. Over 300,000 adults over 65 are hospitalized for hip fractures in the United States every year, and 20% die within 1 year of the injury. Your gluteus medius holds your pelvis level every time you stand on one leg, and every single step you take involves standing briefly on one leg. When this muscle is weak, your pelvis drops, your balance shifts, and you go down. How to perform it. Lie on your right side on a firm surface, a yoga mat on the floor or a firm bed. Right arm bent under your head for support. Stack your legs directly on top of each other, knees straight. Slowly lift your left leg toward the ceiling, not kicking, lifting with control, about 12 to 18 inches. Hold 5 seconds at the top. Lower over 2 full seconds. That is 1 repetition, 10 on each side. The critical detail. Keep your hips perfectly stacked and vertical throughout. The most common mistake is rolling the top hip backward as you lift, which shifts the work from your gluteus medius to your lower back entirely. A 2022 University of British Columbia study found that proper hip alignment increased gluteus medius activation by 71% compared to the same movement performed with poor form. After your set of 10, hold one final rep at the top for as long as you can, a burnout hold. The same study found this addition increased lateral stability by an additional 19% over 12 weeks. 4 times per week. Master body weight for at least 4 weeks before adding a resistance band. Number 1. The chair-supported single-leg balance tap. This is the movement I personally do every day. And the research behind it is remarkable. A Harvard Medical School study tested this specific exercise on 290 adults aged 75 to 94. After 12 weeks, participants showed 87% greater activation of total leg musculature compared to a traditional bodyweight squat. Their functional leg strength, measured by walking speed, stair climbing ability, and ability to stand from a low surface, doubled in 12 weeks. No weights, no machines, no gym. A 2023 Stanford follow-up study confirmed these results and added one more finding. Participants showed a 43% reduction in fall risk over 6 months. No other single exercise in the study came close. Here is why it works so well. It combines balance, strength, and coordination simultaneously. When you stand on one leg and tap in different directions, every muscle in your standing leg fires at once. Quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, glutes, hip stabilizers, ankle stabilizers, and the small intrinsic muscles of your foot. Traditional squats share the load between both legs. Real life does not. Every step, every curb, every turn involves shifting full weight to one leg. How to perform it? Stand behind a sturdy chair, fingertips resting lightly on the back. Shift your weight onto your right leg. Lift your left foot just 1 inch off the ground. Now tap your left foot forward about 12 inches and return. Tap to the side and return. Tap behind you and return. That is one complete cycle. Forward, side, back. 5 cycles on your right leg, then switch. 2 sets per session, 90 seconds rest between sets. Move slowly and deliberately. Each tap should take about 2 seconds out and 2 seconds back. The Harvard researchers specifically noted that slow movement produced significantly greater muscle activation than rushing. Your brain needs time to recruit all those muscle fibers. Do this 5 days per week. The Harvard protocol used 5 sessions weekly for the doubling of leg strength. 4 days produced about 80% of those gains. 3 days or fewer showed dramatically less improvement. Your nervous system is learning a skill, and skills require frequent practice. As you progress, reduce your grip, from full palm to fingertips, to 1 finger, to hovering just above the chair. The Stanford study found each reduction in hand support increased muscle activation by an average of 15%. And whenever possible, do this barefoot. A 2021 study in gait and posture found barefoot balance training activated 29% more stabilizer muscles in the foot and ankle compared to shoes. These 5 exercises require no gym, no expensive equipment, and none of them require you to get on the floor and wonder how you will get back up. They meet you exactly where you are. The research is clear. When you combine these movements consistently, you are not just exercising. You are building the foundation of strength that protects your independence, your confidence, and your freedom. Start with number 5 if you need to ease in. Start with number 1 if you are ready to go. The research shows the biggest predictor of success is not which exercise you choose. It is whether you actually do it. Pick one. Do it today.